As a child, I was a Lego fanatic, and as an adult, I am a retro gaming fanatic. So it should be of no surprise to anyone that I've ended up with this, an official Lego kit of the original DMG Game Boy. As soon as this was announced for pre-order, a friend of mine who is into his adult Lego sent me this. So yeah, I was on my lunch break, couldn't resist. And then months later, I'd pretty much forgotten about it, and it rocked up, and it was a nice surprise. Although not so nice to see that the local shops like Kmart were selling this for less than what I paid on the pre-order. Not much, I think it was only 10 bucks, but I don't know, I feel a little bit gypped by Lego for paying more to pre-order. Shouldn't it be the other way around? But anyway, regardless of all that, I've actually told this story on this channel previously, but a couple of years ago, my parents moved and sold my childhood home, and all the contents of the shed got cleared out. And within that was a lot of Lego, as well as a lot of other childhood toys of mine. Didn't find any video games, unfortunately. They were all pulled out of storage very early on. So a lot of this Lego I sold, but before I sold it, everything was all jumbled up. So I went through and made every single kit, took photos, disassembled it, and then sold them as full kits. I even went to the extent of buying replacement parts from the Lego store. So some of it I've kept for sentimental reasons, a lot of it I've sold, and a lot of it is yet to be sold. But this will be the first new kit that I've built from scratch in probably, I don't know, 20 years maybe? How old am I? Yeah, probably about 20 years. So let's just have a quick look at the box, which I'm absolutely going to keep. So I'm going to try my best not to wreck it too much when I open it up. So as you can see there, it says, if that focuses, no light, sound, and digital play functions. There have actually been a few modders out there already who have already created a working Game Boy using this Lego kit. So I won't be doing that, at least not today, but I thought that was super cool. So 18 plus, this is really hard to film, this sort of long box in my rectangular desk. I should have turned my desk sideways, but then I guess I probably wouldn't be able to sit under it. 421 pieces, so close to a nice. No sad onions. Yeah, it sort of just says the same stuff. See there, see some artwork. Comes with some Lego cartridges, so we got Super Mario Land and also The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. And yeah, kind of hard to film the bottom there. I'll just show it to you upside down for prosperity reasons. But let's get this open. So what's the best way I can do this without wrecking it? I'm just going to see if I can separate the glue a little bit, just so I can sort of pop it out without it potentially ripping. Oh, I've already damaged it. Okay, that probably could have been a little bit more elegant, I should say, but hopefully it's at least kept the shape of the box. So when I close it up, it shouldn't look too crap, hopefully. So I've never filmed a video of me building Lego before. I know there's a lot of channels that specialize in that, and there's no way I'm going to compete with those channels. So I'm really just going to try my best. I've got 3 cameras here, and I'll try and keep it snappy and interesting enough. Yeah, there we go. That's not too bad. Could have been better, could have been worse. So let's have a bit of a look at the goodies. So here's the manual, which kind of looks like an instruction manual for a Game Boy game. That's a nice touch. Still smells the same as it did when I was a kid. Now we got some decals here for the Game Boy cartridges. Put those aside. Did I see some more decals somewhere? I've got a bag here that doesn't have a number on it. Let's put that aside. But all the other bags do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get to those in due course. So yeah, here's number 1. This is going to be extremely dweeby of me, but I'm going to try and keep all these bags as well, because why not? Something needs to go back in the box. Ooh, it's been a long time since I've looked at fresh Lego. Actually, that is a little bit of a lie, because like I said, I did order in those spare parts. And it was amazing, the color fade on some of the pieces. They weren't sitting in the sun either. They had been sitting in a shed that wasn't insulated, but like some of the blue pieces seemed just that odd, just that slightly lighter shade of blue. Although it could be they've changed their dye over the years. Who's to know? I mean, some of that Lego I was playing with was close to 30 years old. So it looks like there's an app you can get these days that, let's try and show you that without the reflection. Yeah, maybe you can build stuff in the app, I don't know. We had Lego Island when I was a kid. Thank you for selecting the Lego Game Boy. Oh yeah, that's another thing I should point out. So that's actually that's what's in this bag. Although hard to see now, but there is actually a lenticular, the screen is like a little lenticular card, like those old sort of, you know, Digimon Tazos you'd get in a bag of twisties back in the day. So as you sort of rotate the Game Boy, the image will change, which I thought was a nice touch. So it looks like it might have operating volume dial, buttons, shows a speaker. Caution, clicking the power switch may result in acute feelings of nostalgia. Trust me, it takes a lot less than that for me to feel acute feelings of nostalgia. We can also insert the game packs as well, the cartridges. It says here, the authentic Lego Game Boy has been constructed using the finest materials to appeal to you, the discerning retro gamer. That is true, I am a discerning retro gamer. For the full 1989 experience, insert the game pack cartridge and realistic lenticular screen and ignore repeated calls to come downstairs for your dinner. I do like eating dinner though, so we'll see about that. So we've got some cool, like a cool retro design there. Oh look, we've even got like a little, what's the history of, you can pause that and read it if you want. Oh, and it sort of shows all the internal workings as well. I'll tell you, this is a lot more involved than I thought actually. It's they've put a lot of effort into the presentation. And I'll have a proper read through this later on. It talks about the 2 games, Zelda and Mario game. Yeah, there's old mate Gibba Gabba there putting it together. You can see the resemblance. Ah, I was wondering what that orange piece was. So it looks like that's the stand to hold it up. So I guess we'll start with that. So, is that actually, oh, that's just, oh okay, so it's just showing me that the stand rotates, although I don't know if it's actually showing me how to build it just yet. We're going to go to the next page. So it looks like we'll be starting by building the screen. So I'll get the time lapse going and maybe we'll just do this bag by bag. Once we're to the end of the bag, we'll show you we'll go time lapse, construction, and then we'll get that bag. Okay, so that first section was actually a little stand to hold the lenticular screen. So I'll show you those real quick. So I don't know how well this is going to come out on the camera. Oh yeah, not too bad. So there we go. We've got Mario going for a little bit of jump there. Jump. And then we've got, I've never played Zelda, sorry. Not sorry, but got whatchamacallit and Doodad there on the beach. Got some birds and we've I guess that must be Zelda there on the right, turning her head. But then best of all, we have the intro sequence for the Nintendo logo when you turn the Game Boy on. So these, yeah, like I said, it was all to build this little stand. And that just goes in there like that. All right. I was going to say onto bag 2, but not yet. We still have whatever's in this to go. So it looks like, oh yeah, it does say here. Whoa, that's a, nearly lost that. That could have been absolutely devastating. So it does show on the right hand corner there that we are building a cartridge. So I guess if I was paying attention, oh, it does say there. So I guess I thought I was building the cartridge, but I was actually building the stand for the cartridge. Let's crack on. Well, here's the cartridge. And it even has internals. I love the attention to detail, creating portions that you'll probably never see again. That's all about the experience of putting it together, I guess. We also had some extra pieces, so we'll just put those aside for now. I don't know if that's just Lego being generous or if that will come into play later on. And that just clips onto the stand like so. Pretty cool. So we'll put that over there for now. And now we're on to the rest of this bag. So it looks like the back of the battery, that looks like the battery cover. It's got a serial number and everything. Obviously not a real clip. And yeah, on to bag 2. Okay, up to bag number 3. So this is where we're at. We've built basically the back half of the Game Boy. Again, like the cartridges, there's all these little internal workings that are just there for your pleasure, really. But it does look like there is some sort of mechanism going on around here, using a piece like this. And there are a few more spare pieces, I've noticed, some of the smaller ones. So I'm not really sure what that's all about. Are they just giving away free pieces, or do they come into effect later on? Because the manual is now telling me to empty bag 3. So yeah, that's where we're at. Let's get cracking. How come whenever I make a mistake, it's one of the flattest pieces, sort of like, you know, one of these, which are absolutely impossible to pull up, and me, being aware of the fact that I would be filming my fingers this afternoon, cut my nails so they, you know, I wouldn't look like a grub like I usually do. And so yeah, just doing that to myself. But anyway, this is where we're up to with the Game Boy. It's coming along. We've got some buttons. So the A and B, that's actually the action in that is just an elastic band that's sort of wrapped tight around a couple of pieces sticking out. And these buttons just sort of sit over the top, so they're just going up and down, yeah, an elastic band. The D-pad here is actually just a piece of rubber in the middle, and these pieces here aren't connected to anything, so it sort of gives you that illusion. I mean, it's pretty close to how a D-pad actually does work. And the start and select buttons, I don't know, these ones are kind of the most lazy, if I'm going to be honest. That's just one of these, just sort of jammed into the gap. So anyway, it's definitely taking shape. On to bag 4. Well, we're getting to the pointy end of this project now. I think the Game Boy is more or less complete. Check that out. So the main things we added in that bag was the volume wheel and the contrast wheel, which is just a little spinny bit of plastic. So nothing too interesting going on there, but I'll show you this. This is how you change the lenticular cards. A little arm that comes out like that. And, actually, how do we get that out? Yeah, it's in there pretty good. Anyway, you get the idea. Ta-da! So now, I believe, in bag 5, we will be building the stand and the other cartridge. Okay, and we're done. Here is the finished product. Here is the other cartridge, Zeldies. It uses the same sort of half hook method to hold the cartridge in place. So there is like a satisfying, well, I was going to say a satisfying click. I guess it wasn't that satisfying, but yeah, check it out. One thing I noticed with this cartridge, they actually went to the trouble to put in a battery as well, which I'll just show you real quick. Basically, whoop, I'm just disassembling this way more than I intended to. Anyway, you can see half of it there. I've seen that piece before. I've seen it, and I had some Star Wars sets. Not to say it was exclusively for Star Wars, but that's where I've seen it before. And yeah, what a neat little project. So there's not really much else to show on the manual. Just has a parts list there at the end. And you could also win some free stuff if you do a survey. And that's the back of the book. I forgot how calming doing Lego is. There's just something so analog about it, which, like, duh, but you know, as an adult, you work all day, you come home, you're pretty tired, and if you're, in my case, you continue to make videos, or you just sit there and doom scroll or watch reality TV. I don't know, maybe you don't do any of that. I don't do most of that. Definitely try not to doom scroll, but yeah, there's just something so nice about just sitting here and just building something and basically just not being on my phone after work. And yeah, we should do a comparison actually. So here's my DMG plus my stand. How do they compare? My little 3D printed jobby there. Lego's version. I think I like my version more. Oh, by the way, this is the piece. It's designed to help you, you know, pull out those those tiny little slate pieces I was whinging about before. Here I was very carefully using a, like a safety knife. Yeah, I could have just used this. I've never seen one of those before. That's new for me. I didn't have those when I was a kid. But yeah, here's the two Game Boys, and wow, they're nearly exactly the same size. That's amazing. So we'll just do some comparisons there. Oh, I just noticed the power switch works. That's got a very satisfying click to it too. I love that. Headphone jack. Take note, manufacturers. Question is, can I put a Lego game cartridge into a real Game Boy? The answer is no. Okay, well that was a fun way to spend an afternoon. I dare say that was a good spend of the money. I really enjoyed that, and it's going to look great on a shelf. Just a bit of housekeeping. I've launched a new channel. Yes, I'm up to channel number 3. Again, completely unlike this channel or even my other channel, which is about local history. This channel is called Brendan Goes Outside, because Brendan does not go outside enough and he needs more exercise. So it's like a hiking and camping channel. There's already a couple of videos out. It's very sort of ad hoc, no scripts, but there is a little bit of history, and I sort of go off the beaten path and find some cool things. I've been to 2 national parks so far. Well, that was a bit rude. Two peace and love, 2 national parks. So yeah, if you think that might be something that interests you, by all means go check it out. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.